Well, here it is, guys. For the first time since 2020, we have new God Eater content. Kind of. It's a collab for a gacha game. And you know what? That probably doesn't excite a lot of people, but for me, I'll take what I can get. And I kind of want to talk about this more because I think it's a indication that maybe the franchise isn't completely dead in the water. And if I'm being honest, the well for God Eater hasn't totally dried up. I know we're all doom and gloom because the franchise hasn't been spoken about from Bandai for years. And I know YouTube and content creation will die if I'm not overly dramatic about the state of every video game franchise I love. But to be fair, this is a much lower profile franchise, and I think Bandai does recognize that because of the situation of its marketing, God Eater 3 suffered a lot. That said, it's only been about 5 years since God Eater 3 wrapped up development. Given that the usual development cycle for a game is around 4 to 6 years, and stacking on top of that, God Eater was not developed in-house at Bandai for the third entry, it's entirely possible that the series is still alive and well. And yeah, I'm coping a bit here. No new game in 6 years, and no announcement is iffy, and on top of that you had a gacha game shut down for it. The series has had its issues, and it's had them before. It's also no stranger to large gaps between releases, with 6 years between 2 and 3. But I don't want to stick too much to the where is God Eater right now, because I've talked about that a lot before. I want to focus more on the fact that maybe God Eater is alive. So let's talk about the news.
I'm the one asking you. Don't return a question with another question.
And yes, I know it's not really big news.
It's a spider pig.
I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be some monumental shift for the God Eater franchise. But the news is essentially that Aether Gazer, a mobile gacha game, is collabing with God Eater. And you might ask, well, why does this matter? On the scale of things, Aether Gazer is not a huge game. We don't know totally how successful these games are. Sensor Tower is arguably the best source we have for how much a game is making, but where they get that data and how this all works, I really don't know. It could all be just rough estimations, and if we're going by that, then God knows how well these games are doing. But in short, collabs cost money, and they are expensive. A collab with God Eater is something I never expected from any gacha game. God Eater is not exactly a huge franchise, and you're not bringing in a gigantic fan base by having that collab. So, why? But of course, I can't complain. I'm very grateful that in some way we're getting new God Eater content 5 years down the line since 3 finished.
What is a Ned?
On a long list of action RPG gacha games is Aether Gazer, a fairly simple real-time action mobile/PC gacha game. It's similar in a lot of ways to Honkai Impact 3rd, if you want to drop a Hoyo game for comparison. I haven't played too much of it. I actually picked up the game because of the God Eater collab, because I want to get a good feel for what the game is, instead of just talking blindly about it. And this collab apparently is coming out globally in June. So, good time to start a gacha game, save up rolls, you know, the stuff you need to do. Supporting gacha games financially is not a decision I actively make. Typically, I just play the games as they are. I just don't have that kind of money to throw around with gachas. And the game itself is fairly fun. It did have an English dub. Unfortunately, the game probably doesn't make a lot of money comparatively to other gachas, so maintaining the English dub is just something I think they decided to not do anymore. But it existing is more than I can say for Honkai Impact 3rd, so that's, you know, cool if you're into English voice acting. You can at least have it up until the point where they stop supporting it. But comparisons aside, I am hopeful about this collab introducing people to God Eater. As for my thoughts on Aether Gazer, you'll probably have to wait a long while for that. It's gonna be some time before I feel like I can judge the game in any form or fashion. I will say the base of it is fun. I can't really judge like the story, you know, the characters, everything like that. That's a long-term discussion. And I'm currently distracted by the other game that's out. It is a decent time to start if you are a God Eater fan. For anything God Eater related, if you're looking for something God Eater related, this is the best we got right now. And the game is starting up its second anniversary. Actually, by the time this video comes out, we'll probably already be, like, well into it. So I'll be late to the punch, as usual.
Good question!
Now, blah blah blah, Aether Gazer, mobile gacha game, what does this mean for God Eater? That's what you're here for, as a God Eater fan, right? I mean, some of you might be coming here from Aether Gazer, and I don't want to brush it off like I don't care about the game. It's just that I know a lot of people who are watching this are probably asking about God Eater because of how I'm framing this video. Here's the thing. Mobile game collabs are a mixed bag. Sometimes they are an indication of something big on the horizon, but oftentimes they're ways to mix two sets of fans together, with hopefully both sides coming out with more supporters. These kinds of collabs don't need to be indicative of something, but I can dream, right? What if this is a hint at future God Eater games? What if there is a God Eater game in development right now? And what if it's coming out soon? Because of all Bandai's IPs for anime original games, why God Eater? There are games that would fit better into this. There are games that have sold better and have bigger fan bases that would fit into this even better. Why not Scarlet Nexus, Code Vein, or even Tales? Tales of Arise went to space for some reason, and you could easily fit that into here somehow. You know, just like the setting at least. From what I've gathered, even aesthetically, Scarlet Nexus would fit a lot more. I'm just desperate for God Eater to continue, and if this is any indication of anything, I'm very happy. Now bring myself back down to earth. This could mean something or nothing. It really would not surprise me if this comes out and nothing comes of this. But I'm gonna hope, even a little bit, that this is some small confirmation that Bandai is still working on the series. It is a trickle of news, a very small drop for the franchise, but I will take a drop over nothing. And I understand that it might come as a disappointment that the only news we have about God Eater is a mobile gacha game collab. I know how a lot of people feel about gachas. I know how people feel just generally about this kind of stuff, and it's not really a God Eater game, so I understand that it could be frustrating. So that aversion to gachas exists, but I want to be positive about this. If you do look at this, there are things to be thankful for. That the developers and the company behind Aether Gazer decided to collab with God Eater and Bandai agreed to it. Those are both good things. And let's not trash on a gacha game just because it's a gacha. If you do want to try Aether Gazer, do so with an open mind, because that's what I'm doing. I may not want to pick up 12 different gacha games for the sake of a collab, but I'm willing to pick this one up because it's collabing with a franchise that I truly hold near and dear to my heart. Every game has its fans and passionate developers behind it. Even if something looks like a big corporate schlop and you don't like the monetization, that doesn't mean the developers behind the game, that doesn't mean they're not passionate. Remember, monetization is a corporate thing. And if you try Aether Gazer and you don't enjoy it, that's okay. But you don't have to go and start an engagement world, you know? It's okay to say you didn't enjoy the game, that's fine. You're not going to enjoy every game. But, you know, let's be civil. That's what I'm saying. And if this is your first time here, and you know little to nothing of God Eater, I do have this video here that details the series and where you can start playing, if you do want to play. But either way, I'm very grateful that something is happening in the sphere of God Eater, because it's been kind of a long time, and I'm a little concerned that we may not be getting another entry in the franchise. So let me know if you're excited or intrigued by this collab, if you're happy that this sprinkle of news exists and it's leaving you a little hopeful, you can put those all in the comments down below. And you can also leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel for more things Bandai, jrpg, and God Eater related. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you all next time.
For those who come after.